In 1994, Tymich Six was last seen picking peaches from her neighbor's tree with her older brothers. Their grandmother shouted for them to come in because she was going to put on a Disney movie, and the three boys hopped on their bikes and headed back towards the house, Crystal right behind them. But when they got to the house, they realized that Crystal had vanished. They immediately went out and began searching the neighborhood for her, but she has never been seen again, and her case remains unsolved, despite a quick reaction from her family, her community, and investigators. We are in our 26th week, and we are in California. Crystal's family says that she was bright, bubbly, fearless, and friendly. She was the youngest of 4 children with 3 older brothers who absolutely adored her. Her parents were separated at the time of her disappearance, but had a great co-parenting relationship. Crystal primarily stayed with her father in South Central Los Angeles, but she also frequently visited her mother in Santa Monica. On June 30th, 1994, Crystal and her brothers were playing outside of their father's home on 600 block of Bryanhurst Avenue. Around 2 p.m., the children were playing a game involving picking peaches from the neighbor's tree and throwing them on the roof. Their grandmother interrupted their game and called them in to watch The Lion King. The 3 boys, excited, jumped on their bikes and began paddling home, with Crystal walking just a few steps behind them. The boys say they last saw her on the sidewalk near the peach trees, but when they turned around, Crystal had disappeared. The boys immediately began searching the yard, the sidewalk, and the nearby homes to find their sister. It would be just a few minutes before the family and neighbors jumped into action, contacted the police department, and reported Crystal missing. To the credit of investigators, they jumped in quickly and began searching and canvassing the area thoroughly, and went door to door questioning every resident and searching yards, garages, alleyways, all in hopes of finding little Crystal. Investigators felt that as little as Crystal was, she wasn't a runaway case, which allowed them to escalate her case to other agencies like the FBI and get her picture circulating through National Missing Children Network. Despite their quick action, days would turn into weeks without getting any closer to Crystal or finding out what happened to her. However, the national news media coverage did help bring in tips. There would be tips of Crystal being reported in nearby cities, and investigators followed each one of those leads, but none of them panned out. There was not a single witness who ever reported seeing Crystal being taken, and there is no forensic evidence found pointing towards an abduction. Investigators were able to rule out Crystal's family very quickly from the beginning. Both parents were very cooperative, and they sat with the 3 boys multiple times and interviewed them, and they still had the same story of events and how they unfolded. In 1994, Crystal's case became a cold case, and they received very few tips, coming in with no credible leads to work with and no suspects. The LAPD and the FBI had to scale back efforts in Crystal's case, but her case remained open. 2 years later, a $25,000 reward was offered for information in Crystal's case, but again, no one came forward. Crystal's face was everywhere in the beginning, and investigators and the media did a good job keeping it out there. Her photo would appear on billboards, America's Most Wanted, milk cartons, and was picked up by multiple missing children organizations to the point that her image became familiar with so many people. In 2005, the LAPD and the FBI agents received a tip about a home directly across the street from where Crystal vanished. The home had once belonged to a local reverend known for inviting children over to his house for Bible study. Based on this tip, investigators went and excavated the crawl space in his house, but found no bones and no trace of Crystal. The search did put Crystal's name and face front and center in the media once again. Crystal's case remains open, and the LAPD and FBI say they are still welcoming any tips in her case, and there is a $10,000 reward for information still available. At the time of Crystal's disappearance, she was 6 years old, 4 feet tall, and around 60 pounds. She was described as a Caucasian female with blonde to light brown hair and hazel brown eyes. She was last seen wearing a pink t-shirt, floral printed shorts, and white sneakers that had the image of the Little Mermaid on them. You can see the exact outfit she was wearing in the picture provided. If you have any information on the disappearance of Crystal, you are asked to contact the Los Angeles Police Department at 213-485-4175. Please keep sharing Crystal's face and her case. She vanished so quickly, and her family deserves answers after all these years. Thank you so much for taking the time to get to know Crystal today, and don't forget, when you see those missing and murdered posts on social media, share them. Every time we share a face, we do get closer to solving a case, and I will see you all back here tomorrow for another day in California.